Reporting from Arkham Asylum, this is Gotham Rogues. In this video we take a look at the comic book storyline, Batman Absolute Terror. Absolute Terror is a two-parter published across Detective Comics 835 to 836 in 2007. The story was written by John Rossum and penciled by Tom Mandrake. In it, Jonathan Crane, aka the Scarecrow, is fed up with being disrespected and considered a B-list loser rogue, so he decides to abandon his crutch, the fear toxin, and prove to Gotham City that he can terrorize the entire town even without it. Thusly, in the following week, Scarecrow succumbs Gotham into absolute terror and panic, using various cunning and brutal fear tactics as opposed to the gas. Naturally, it's up to Batman to stop this menace, but how is he supposed to catch up with Crane when the villain is defying all of his old patterns and rules? Several people have commented on my old top 5 best Scarecrow stories video why this comic wasn't included. I've been meaning to review it ever since then, but other videos have gotten in the way. But now we're doing it, so you'll finally learn the answer. Right off the bat, we've got a problem with this story. Scarecrow is a B-list loser who gets no respect. He's even shown being bullied by the other inmates of Arkham. What the hell is this? Since when is the Scarecrow a loser villain? It's not Killer Moth or Cluemaster we're talking about here. It's the freaking Scarecrow, the master of fear, one of Batman's top rogues, right up there with the damn Joker. Now he's being harassed by some lame no-name random Arkham inmate, and he's taking it? Seriously? Yeah, I get it, he's not physically powerful, but he's one of the most notorious criminals in Gotham's history, known for causing wide-scale pandemonium repeatedly. Who would seriously dare to mess with the Scarecrow? Unless they're a top rogue too, like Joker or Poison Ivy. This is just insulting to the character. The thing is though, the writer had good intentions, because the story is about Crane proving himself, but I feel like he was trying to fix a problem that wasn't there. Apparently in John Rossum's mind, Scarecrow was a B-list villain whom he felt should be an A-lister, but, at least in my opinion, Crane was already an A-lister. It's certainly true that Scarecrow is a bit lacking in the great stories department, as I've talked about before, but even in the bad stories the character is usually portrayed as a massive threat. I just don't see where Rossum is coming from here, and his noble intentions end up having the opposite effect to me. Then there's also the way he has Crane live up to his full potential. Spread fear without the fear toxin. We've seen that before already. He doesn't need a toxin to be effective. In No Man's Land, Crane was able to rip apart a community with mere words and manipulation. They don't call him the master of fear for nothing. He knows everything about the human psyche, and what makes a person tick and what makes them break. The toxin is really just a tool. It makes things easier for him, but it isn't a crutch. The No Man's Land story doesn't even make a big deal out of Crane not using the gas. In fact, it's only mentioned once in a throwaway line during the entire arc. That story excellently demonstrated that Scarecrow is a major force to be reckoned with, even without the toxin. This one does it in the exact opposite way, shoving it down our throats what a big bad boogeyman Crane is without the gas. It feels really forced, and Scarecrow goes too over the top with his crazy antics too, like in one scene where he hypnotizes a guy to choke on his own intestines. It's supposed to be horrifying, but it's so over the top, it's just goofy. It's like Rossum is trying too hard to be edgy. Then there's a totally pointless subplot about yet another one of Bruce Wayne's girlfriends, a woman named Kay Scott. I don't think she ever appeared in anything outside of this one story, as I haven't read anything else with her, and she isn't even listed on Comic Vine. And if you're a comic book character and not listed on Comic Vine, then you basically don't exist. Anyway, in the story, Pointless Kay whines about how terrified she is of the Scarecrow's mad escapades. That's it in a nutshell. I guess what Rossum is trying to do is show the effect these supervillains have on ordinary people, and make it more interesting by having this person be close to Bruce, so he's affected by it too, in a way he usually isn't. But it doesn't work, because we don't care about this cipher that is Pointless K. One thing I kinda like though is how Batman begins to feel powerless because he can't stop this new and improved Scarecrow. None of his usual methods and tactics work because Crane isn't playing by the same rules anymore. This causes the Dark Knight to grow desperate and lash out. That's the only aspect of the comic that I find interesting. As for the artwork, it's okay. I like Tom Mandrake. He drew some Batman comics in the 80s and early 90s too, and his work is pretty good. That said, this isn't among his best stuff. I really like the makeshift costume Crane makes while in Arkham. It's a pretty great Scarecrow design, but then he puts on his regular getup and it doesn't look very good. Somehow the mask looks like a duck face. It's a pretty goofy Scarecrow design, and I feel like Mandrake could have done better than this. So yeah, I know the story does have its fans, but obviously I'm not one of them. I think it tries too hard to push Scarecrow as a big terrifying menace, ending up feeling really forced and in your face. And then of course there's the little fact that Kane was already a big terrifying menace, so this comic is completely pointless. They tried to fix a problem that wasn't there. What Scarecrow needs are better stories that actually explore the character. That he is lacking. There are other villains who need to prove themselves as big threats, like say Calendar Man. So there you have it. That's Batman Absolute Terror, a story with good intentions, which sadly ended up totally failing in my opinion. Let me know in the comments what you think of this story. Do you agree or disagree? And if the latter, feel free to explain how you think this story works. And as always, remember, Arkham Asylum awaits you in the next video.